Apparently, I'm a maximalist. Who knew? I try to figure out what I'm doing with this wall, and more importantly, why. And that is why we're diving into maximalism today. While I was putting this gallery wall together, I started researching and looking at different pictures on the internet to see what other gallery walls were out there and what ones I was really drawn to. And something that I saw as a common thread throughout most of them was the label maximalism. And I was like, y'all, I don't know about that. I mean, the first definition when you look up maximalism is more is more. Well, no, it's not always more. More can be cluttered. More can be messy. More can be chaotic. And that's not what I was trying to create with this gallery wall or in this room or in my home for that matter. But then I dug a little deeper. And that's when I realized I'm a maximalist and didn't know it. So let's dive in to what maximalism actually is. If you haven't hit subscribed yet, would you do me a favor and go down to my profile and just hit that subscribe button? It really does great for little channels like this. So like I said, the first thing that I saw when I looked up maximalism was the definition of more is more. But it's not filling a room with stuff. It's about curated abundance, bold self-expression in the celebration of color, pattern, and history. Layering what you love. That right there defined everything of what I was trying to do in this space. Maximalism leans into a bold color palette. Hello, I don't think I could be much more bold than what I'm doing right now. There are many layers in maximalism with textures and color and pattern. So with this wall, what I'm trying to do is have those windows and old doors as a background, and then the artwork and the everything else that I'm going to be adding to the wall is going to be the layers that will come on top. So in my research, another article that I came across was from an author from Garden and Gun. His name is C.J. Coates Diego. And the first thing that he said was, what the world calls maximalism, Southerners call life. And I thought, how much more fitting than that? And he also said that Southerners often give meaning to many things just for the sake of giving it meaning. He stated that maximalism combines patterns and textures, sometimes new pieces, often vintage or passed down heirlooms. And I thought, if that isn't me to a T. Maximalism isn't just about more, it's about meaning. And it took me a little while to understand that. And one of the things that I have set out to do in this family room is make it warm and cozy, but I don't want it cluttered, and I don't want it chaotic, and I don't want it closed in. And when I first thought of maximalism, that's what I thought. I thought of chaos and clutter and closed in, and that's not me, and that's not what I want. And the awesome thing about, your space is you can make it your own. So another thing they mentioned in that Garden and Gun article is that you use symmetry and solid color as a place for your eye to rest, a place for all of the whatnots to actually be a star. So in this gallery wall, what I'm trying to do is have one hero piece of some sort of artwork or something, and then several supporting actors around it. This picture here of the Colony Hotel in Palm Beach is a perfect example of that symmetry. As you can see, there's a printed wallpaper with lots going on it and lots of plants, but you'll notice there's two sets of those wicker chairs with the same color, same shaped pillows in them. Those are symmetrical. The plants are even placed in a symmetrical manner. The sconces on those posts are a pair, so that adds symmetry. That gives your eye a place to rest when there is so much going on in other places. And I want to try to place that hero piece in a manner that those supporting actors around it will bring your eye up and around and continue it to dance around the wall and not just feel like chaos. So when you first look at the wall, you'll see the artwork, but then each time you go by, your eye might dance around and find something else interesting to look at. The next time you come through, it might come around and find something else interesting to look at. And that's really what I'm trying to curate with this wall. So this is an inspiration picture that I found. You have the round mirror in the middle, which the roundness helps keep your eye moving throughout the entire wall. You also have the connectivity of the theme of the artwork. You have the florals in one type of print and then the other similar prints in the other artwork. You also have picking up in the colors in some of those paintings in the plates as well. So I have the solid color. Now I need to bring in some patterns. So we're going to do that with some of the artwork, but we're also going to bring it in with some pattern on the lamps that I'm going to put up here. Now those lamps are going to be two identical lamps so that they're very symmetrical in this space, but we'll also have a pattern so it adds some interest and some more depth to this space. I also want to play with a little bit of the color. I want to add shades of this color, even going as deep as like a deep emerald green to really add depth so that it isn't just one note or too flat. So another thing that I found in the research, and this is really what dialed it in for me, was the difference between a maximalist room and one that is messy is its intentionality. So you want to find a common thread with color. So since I have color on this side of the room, I have that same color on the curtains, I have a little bit in the pillows, and now across this wall, it brings your eye all the way around the entire room and makes it feel as a whole and put together. I also want to practice a rule of 3 and group things in odd number of objects. That creates that pattern with your eye. So what I'm trying to do on this wall is have one hero moment and then several supporting actors. So in varying sizes and shapes. So I have a lot of square right now. As you could see, I started in Canva, I started putting the room together so that I could kind of see what it would look like, because I obviously couldn't hold all the frames. And I didn't want to hang them just yet. So I put all the family photos that I definitely want to have there. And then I put up a few of the architectural salvage pieces that I have, and I thought it still needed something. Everything was just much too square. So I really think I need something round, maybe round frames or a round mirror, maybe something oval or even arched would look good in this space. And I'm noticing also I'm veering almost too vintage, and I'd almost like to bring in a little more modern feel to some of the things. I think by adding some of the frames that I did over in the previous video over here on the side of the wall, I think that will bring in some of that modernness and texture and play on pattern. But also, I think maybe putting this last one around the light switch and maybe doing something fun in the middle there might add a little interesting moment, but also make this part of the wall and not an afterthought. Another way to help the cluttered and chaos and messiness from creeping in is to let your eye rest on the negative space. So I have a solid colored wall. If I was going to use wallpaper on this wall, I would not put so many layers on. I think it would be, for me, it would be too much. Now, there are maximalists that just go with it, right? They do a patterned wallpaper, they do a bunch of artwork on the top of it, then they do a bunch of pattern on their furniture, and then a pattern on their rug. And to me, that's just a little too much. To me, I think your eye does need a place to rest. In art, you learn that. You learn to create depth, but you also learn something needs to have a moment. Your eye needs to be drawn to something and then move around the artwork. This inspiration picture is a perfect example of that. You have the two identical lamps with the solid colored lampshades. You have the round mirror in the middle. You have the theme throughout all of the artwork, which is florals, which brings in those greens, and then the color repeating as well. And you even have the groundedness of that credenza. The wood grain in the credenza just grounds your space and grounds all those colors that you're combining together. And of course, two symmetrical chairs sitting there as well. Scale matters a whole lot as well. So having larger pieces of art and smaller pieces of art, also combining pattern. So large stripes and really narrow stripes. Let's see, more drastic colored stripes and more subtle colored stripes, tone on tone type of thing. You can mix together as well. Large floral prints and small floral prints, stripes and floral prints. You find a common color, and that's how you mix those patterns together. So the other thing that gives your eye a place to rest is that symmetry. So having identical lamps on my credenza, having some identical sized picture frames, having similar shapes in there will help bring in that symmetry and allow your eye to rest. So if I have 3 round frames, then your eye will, connect the dots of all those round frames and just kind of keep your eye to move about the entire space. Even though typical maximalism does dive into the bold colors, I do feel that we can take bits of maximalism and enter it into any space, even if it's a neutral space. By bringing in vintage pieces, by bringing in your heirloom pieces, by bringing in those pieces that have meaning, by creating those homes that are warm and cozy and have interest and meaning, that are lived in, that feel comfortable, that feel cozy, I think is another way that maximalism can be used. So I think the maximalist style is really fun from the standpoint of it's something that can evolve. It might look okay now, but as you have more life experiences or you find more things, you can add those layers and the patterns and the interest to the wall and really keep it alive and living all the time. At Christmas time, I find it to be a really great opportunity to pull down things that you have on a daily basis, put your Christmas stuff up, decorate with that, and then when you pull Christmas down, you have a whole new opportunity to arrange things in a different way or bring in some other things or rotate things out. That's another way I think that maximalism can be contained and not messy and chaotic and crazy. You also want to be subscribed so you don't miss a video, because it'll give you a little notification that I've uploaded a new video, and the next one is going to be a little thrift trip. We're going to go search for our hero moment, if you will. I need to find some sort of artwork, and I'd really like something maybe old Florida. Something vintagey, old Florida looking, whether it be a landscape or, I don't know, tapestry, any sort of something that would be kind of interesting. Maps, things like that, I think would be really interesting. Maybe something sculptural, like some, seagulls or birds or something of that nature, or something else just completely off theme that would be interesting in this space. I don't know. We'll have to see what we find. You never know when you hit a thrift store, right? Please let me know. Are you a maximalist? Also, let me know, what would you do on this wall? Would you have kept it plain? Would you have added wallpaper? Would you have, do you find yourself to be maximalist? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Bye-bye, y'all. See you in the next one.